Hey, Matt Morris at mattmorris.com. Thanks for tuning in. Today, I'm going to give you a special training. It's called How to Turn a 2 into a 10. Now, this is something I actually just recently heard at Art Jonak's event. Art did this example, and I thought it was classic. So I wanted to make sure my subscribers got the information here and how to turn a 2 into a 10. Now, he didn't call it that. That's what I'm kind of calling this. But, you know, 2 and a 10. What is a 2 and a 10? So what I'm doing is on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say 10 is someone who's really successful, really driven, has got a lot of credibility, knows a lot of people, hard worker, might be someone who's, you know, a 6 or a 7-figure earner in network marketing as an example, or it might be someone who, you know, just in life, they've got it going on. A 2 would be someone who, you know, doesn't really have things going on. You know, they may be struggling financially. They may not have the same level of desire and ambition that, you know, a 10 would have. So, you know, 10 to 2, scale of 0 to 10. So we get that. So here's what happens is, you know, it's obviously we've got to go have personal production. We've got to go enroll people. And I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're probably a little bit higher on the scale. I don't want to, you know, not trying to label anyone or anything like that, but I'm assuming if you're watching my videos, if you watch them regularly, you've got a level of skill that's probably quite a bit greater than most people. And so, you know, you're higher on the scale. And let's just say you're a 10 as an example. So as a 10, you're naturally going to go out and you're going to attract other people who are your level and a little below. So 9s, 8s, 7s, things like that. You can recruit pretty much anyone in the spectrum. And so you got to go out and put, you know, enough personal activity in. You got to have personal momentum before you can ever have group momentum. That's one thing that I've definitely found to be true. But there's going to be people that come across that you may enroll and they might be a 2. And so let's say this is you, okay? And you go out and you have enrolled a 2. Now, that 2 is naturally, you know, the law of association kind of says your income is the average of your 5 best friends. Les Brown, he says it a little better. He says if you hang around with 9 broke friends, guess what? You're the 10th. So a 2 is typically going to be able to go recruit maybe some other 2s. They're going to be able to recruit some 1s. They're going to be able to recruit some 0s. It's going to be a little harder because typically people in this range are going to have lack of income. You know, they don't have the money to get started. That'll be a common thing. And so how do we, you know, recruit up? How do we bring in higher caliber of people? Well, if you're a 10 or even if you're a 8 or a 7 or a 6, you can dig down and you can start working with this person. Now, here's some of the things that I do. If I've got someone who I know on that scale, maybe a little bit lower, I want to help them sponsor up. I want to help them sponsor people that are at a higher level. And by themselves, they're going to have a lot harder time doing that because one of the laws of leadership says that we naturally want to follow people that are at a higher level of leadership than ourselves. And so, you know, a 5 is not going to want to follow a 2. A 10 is not going to want to follow a 7. A 7 is going to want to follow a 10. A 5 is going to want to follow a 7 or someone higher, right? So we get that. So if you, being a 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, you start working with this person, you can help them attract a 3. And so one of the strategies that I use when I'm enrolling people and I've got people in my group and I notice money is a common objection that keeps coming up. I know the issue is we got to recruit at a higher level. And so the question I ask people is, who's the most ambitious person you know? Who's the most successful person that you know? And so I want to dig into this person and help them recruit someone that's at a higher level. And so now I've got a 3. Well, the 2 is not necessarily going to be able to really effectively help the 3 a whole lot. I mean, we can plug them into the system. And that's why it is important that we have a system in place. We have an events culture. We have a training culture so that if you have someone who's a 2, they can put a tool in someone's hand and they can introduce them to the system, introduce them to the training, introduce them to the upline. So ideally a 2 can sponsor a 10, a 2 can enroll a 10, but I'm talking about being in the trenches, you know, on a day-to-day activity. So I pour in, now I'm going to pour into this 3. And so a 3 is naturally going to be able to go attract other 3s, maybe some 2s, some 1s, we get the picture. Well, how do we, bump it up? Well, I'm going to pour into this 3 and I'm going to help them go recruit a 4. Now you get the picture. I'm going to pour into that 4, and the 4 is going to naturally be able to attract other 4s, 3s, and I want to help them enroll a 5. So if you notice, through depth, through me getting in the trenches, doing presentations, doing calls, getting my elbows, dirty, putting some elbow grease in, I can raise the caliber of people within the organization. So once you get down to, the 7s and the 6s and the 8s, all of a sudden you stop having the money objection so much. They naturally have a little more credibility. They know more people. They've got a higher level of desire, so they take action a lot faster. And that's been one of the keys for me to be able to create momentum in the organization, is to be able to find other high caliber people and other people who have a higher level of leadership, because as we've always said, everything rises and falls based on leadership. Now, here's the other thing that's important that you really make a priority, and you make this part of the culture of your organization. If it's not part of the culture of your company already, if you don't have an upline that's really ingraining this philosophy into your organization, you need to do it. You've got to step up. You're a leader when you say you are, and the culture that's so important is to create is a culture of personal development, a culture of personal growth. You've got to have people that are watching videos like this on a consistent basis, that are reading books on a consistent basis, that are growing themselves. And what can happen over time, it's not going to happen overnight, but over time, this too goes out and reads 10 books, and all of a sudden, he or she is a 3. They read 10 more books and, they become a 4. And over time, that 2 could eventually turn into a 10. A great example, I just, first company I ever got started in, company that's, 60 years old. One of the guys who was an up-and-coming leader when I was involved in that company so many years ago, his background, he was actually worked at a car wash. Larry Winters, and Larry and Pam Winters. And, he started out at a little bit of a lower level, had a lot of desire. He just didn't necessarily have the same kind of credibility and leadership level that someone else would have that would come in at a higher level. Well, over time, he kept attending events, he kept reading books, and he kept at it year after year after year. And after 11 years in that company, he hit the top rank. Now, it took him 11 years and he had to grow, but I just heard from a friend of mine that he's putting 12 to 15,000 people in coliseums now just within his organization. So a 2 can turn into a 10. It's going to take some time, and it only will happen if you have that culture of personal growth and development. So hopefully this added a lot of value for you. If you feel like it can help add some value to some others, definitely share the video around. You can tag others in the post. I'd love to hear your comments below. Let me know if you enjoyed it. And let me know if you didn't enjoy it, good or bad, either way. Appreciate you guys. If you're not already at mattmorris.com, hop over there, put your name and email address in, and I'm going to send you a 5-day free video training series on how to go from amateur to professional in network marketing. They've gotten tons and tons and tons of rave reviews on that. So enjoy that. And as always, go make life an adventure.